practicing witchcraft in your ancestry, you're not going to be an alcoholic and say it's a generational curse. It would be the same thing. So it would trickle down to you being involved with, seeing spirits and spirits like that. Remember, like that one guy that we knew, it went on to his stepchildren?
Right.
So it's the same thing.
Right, there's not even a blood relationship there, but because
he married their mom.
Into there, it passed on to them.
Yep.
But we helped that individual, and now he is a contestant. I just want to talk like that.
Well, the problem is, in this world, we've also come to believe that this is how life is, and this is as good as it gets. But that's not true. That's not at all.
No, I'm waiting for the good part yet.
So how do you know if you're under a family curse? Well, unclean spirits and their negative energy or their power, they have the right to us only by our actions and by our family's history or our ancestors' involvement with things.
You leave the door open, somebody's bound to come through, babes. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, and if it bridges over.
That's why I don't like giving out my number. People always call me all the time, bothering me, Emails, faxes, Twitter, it's just getting nuts, brother.
I think you like that stuff.
Well.
So, often if you're unsure why, but you have a strong tie or desire to things like the occult or like a sexual addiction or addiction to drugs or dark things, and then there's a family history of those in it, you could be under a generational curse. It's possible for demons to enter a child and remain dormant or hidden until they're older. That wasn't my case, but I mean, it can happen.
I don't know. I've seen that pop up once in a while.
Sometimes later, it can manifest or make itself known. Sometimes when a person is close to obtaining their purpose in life, evil will kick in because they want to cause havoc for the person. They want to stop their... Especially
if you get towards the Christ.
Oh, yeah, they don't like that.
Start going that way, and then they want to put the brakes on and say, whoa, I remember a generational curse we got on you, brother. And they want to just pull them back, suck them in.
Well, I think people think of demons...
Stomp on them and squish them and beat them and kick them and hit them and tear them and shred them up and...
sift them like wheat. Oh, yeah, that's what they'll do.
That's what they'll do.
Well, because people think about demons as stuff that they see on the internet or in movies, but they are very, very smart. And they know. They watch us. They don't know our thoughts.
Well, they got the inside going on. They get to see what we're doing and see our actions.
They hear what we say.
They've been dealing with mankind for thousands and thousands of years, and they know patterns. They know what's going to happen. They know what they can do. Often enough, you'll find, especially if you find someone who's on some sort of spiritual growth, they'll be attacked by something that always seems to affect them. Let's say it's financial.
Yep.
So it worked once, it'll work again. You don't need to try something new. Just keep working. Or for some people, it's always physical. It's like, oh, I'm sick again.
Yep.
That'll slow you down. If you keep getting sick, you can't get nothing done. Or whatever it is. Maybe it's, to get you off path, off track. Maybe it's music. Maybe it's something. And they'll just continue to use it to break you down. Break down the walls.
You can start rapping on me.
Break down the walls.
Sometimes, things like
shatter
fear.
Your bones and your brains down the halls.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
This is not the rap channel.
Yeah, it is.
Other times, something like fear or spiritually dark doesn't manifest into a person's life until they get themselves involved in something fearful or cult-like. So everything's fine. They're going about their day. And then one day they decide maybe to use a Ouija board.
There you go. Doors opened.
Boom. They're like... Oh, I know that guy. That's what happens.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the spirits in that person's life come alive, so to speak, and then they make themselves known. And they were there all along, but now they just have to come out in the open.
Yep.
The solution is always to cast them out. But it's not a possession. So
right. No, it's
a curse. Their presence, they will just make things, like I said, it could be sickness, it could be
it's just something
mental
to irritate,
torment.
just to take you off. Sometimes you can, and we've seen it before, in anything. You're focused on something, you're doing something, and something distracts you.
Yep.
And that's all the demon or something has to do, just distract you from something to get you just off course a little bit. Or like a ball player, somebody going to catch a ball, and, he takes his eye off the ball for a minute to see where he's at, boom, he misses it.
Yep.
And that's what Satan, he's just like, all you got to do is just get this individual just to miss it a little bit. Just throw a little curveball at him. He's going to freak out. He's going to
Get
forget his
smashed
focus.
in the face with the ball.
Teeth come flying out. Eyeballs
nose is
popping. Hair
bleeding.
standing on top of their head. Cats and dogs living together.
It's pure mayhem. Now, types of curses that we've seen, that we've personally been involved with as far as clients or people that we know in our life, mental illness, seeing spirits and being sensitive to the spirit realm, that'll make any person crazy. Many of our clients have hauntings, and they find out their family's been involved with some kind of divination or spiritism. Addiction will trickle down to family members, and you'll find out that 9 out of 10 people who have addiction will tell you that they hear voices, they see demonic stuff, and no one takes them seriously because, they're crackheads or whatever. But why do you think they turn to crack? Oh my gosh, I'd turn to crack too if I saw demons every single day. Well, maybe I would. I don't know. But
then you'd be eating paint again.
Then go back to paint. But so you talk to somebody with addiction and you need to listen to what they're really saying. You remember in Men in Black?
Of course,
okay.
That is
That's golden.
Yeah.
Okay, well, when they wanted to find out where the aliens were at, they would go get the tabloids. And he taught Will Smith, just go in the tabloids. He's like, those things are real? He's like, yeah. And, because they're so loony.
Yeah.
And that's so true. If you seriously will talk to somebody with addiction or somebody with schizophrenia or something, they will tell you what's going on in the spirit realm. And that's what's turned them, Right. So, yeah.
Yeah.
We had one client, they had a 3-year-old who had night terrors. And they also were having sleep paralysis and stuff like that. And he was seeing spirits, even when he was a baby. I remember her telling us that as a baby, she could see him. And his eyes would go here and go there. And she's like, oh, what's there? And at first she didn't think it was a big deal. She thought maybe it was just light or whatever. And then one time the baby followed where the lights went and the door moved. She was like, okay, there's something there. And she said haunting activity came out of the blue. But in actuality, it started when the baby's father went to prison. And she was pregnant. And then it grew, and after she had the baby, it got worse. Well, he was a Satanist. So that says it right there,
Satanist.
And I know of a family where the dad had an addiction to pornography. And he totally turned his life to Christ, and everything was going great. But his son is still plagued.
Yeah.
And he's still in prison.
Right. Well, everybody is responsible for themselves at one point.
Right.
Up until a person becomes accountable for themselves.
But if
you're under the parents' protection or under their curse. But to break a curse, you got to get yourself on the right side of the fence.
Well, this curse, has trickled down to the son because the son has sexual issues. And that's why he's in prison. And if that curse was acknowledged and taken care of, that curse would be broken. But it hasn't. So even though he's given his life to Christ, the curse is still there. A lot of Christians think because they've turned to Christianity that their curse is lifted, and it's not. Do you have something to say, Yoda? Something to share? Are you clearing your throat? And then, like we were talking about before, that one man who he said he gave his soul to the devil or whatever, when he got married, he wasn't blood related to these kids, but they started seeing the same thing, and he was smart enough to know, I need to get rid of it. Are you okay? I know a mom who was married to an abusive alcoholic, and then she had a little girl, and as she got older, she was becoming an alcoholic too, and then she ended up marrying a man who was an alcoholic and abusive to her, and then she had a kid, and luckily the guy went to jail or whatever. So people are like, oh, that's just a pattern, and it's like, no, it doesn't have to be, because there's plenty of other people who aren't like that.
Right.
So there are curses out there.
Well, demons have lots of names. They can call themselves alcohol. They can call themselves drugs. They can call themselves pornography.
Yeah.
They can call themselves whatever you want them to be called. Not a problem. They will use that name. Whatever you want them to be.
Well, and there's some really neat
soap
stories
bubbles,
too.
You know?
Soap bubbles?
Yeah.
Yeah. I found some neat stories, too, about this one man. He was an alcoholic, and then he had one kid who wasn't, but he had another kid who was a total alcoholic. And this kid started going, to church or whatever, and whatever, and then he straightened out his life, and he broke that curse. And his father, ironically, totally different state, after 50 years, stopped being an alcoholic at the same time.
Maybe he ran out of money.
No. I'm sure if someone's an alcoholic, they're going to find a way.
I suppose so.
Yeah. And then,
maybe he wasn't thirsty anymore.
That could be. He wasn't thirsty. He didn't want to drink.
He wasn't thirsty anymore.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Okay. In the news, there was 2 twin brothers in 1995.
I bet they looked alike.
Well, not always. Twins don't always look alike.
Maybe.
But, so check this out.
We don't really know them.
They lived in the same state, okay, and they were in contact too, and they each were committing multiple murders at the same time, and they didn't know. So,
oh, wow.
Isn't that crazy? And then one got caught, and they checked his DNA, but the thing was that it was a murder that the other brother committed. And because they share the same DNA.
Like, you got my brother, but you didn't get me type thing.
Yeah, like that.
But
it was really, they both
shot the sheriff and didn't shoot the deputy.
Exactly. Oh, yeah.
Just saying.
Well, they at the same time, there were multiple murders.
It wasn't me. It was my brother.
Yeah. And then they're just like, oh, nuts. One guy's like, well, I didn't know my brother was a killer, too. That's cool. I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. So some people are like, I didn't know he was in baseball cards, and I know my brother was a killer. So I think that's pretty crazy. So, I mean, that just shows that stuff, they didn't even know. There's a city that's close to us, and there is a wave.
There's a lot of cities close to us.
Yeah, but I don't want to name this city.
Okay.
There's a wave of suicides going through the past.
That's been something that's been going on for a while, though. That's been in the uprise.
Well, no, in this particular city, though, and it's a very small city, tons of suicides, and a lot of them, I mean, all ages. But this one family I know that lives there, okay, they've had 3 foreign exchange students stay with them, okay, and 2 of them committed suicide after they left and went back to, like, Germany or wherever they went. And they were both like, older. They were like maybe like 17 or whatever. So, right. And it's just constant at this place. And so, you gotta put these numbers together. In the area. Oh yeah. And this is all spiritual warfare. Don't you think?
Yeah. It's talked. We kind of talked about it last week. Lucifer, which was known as the best angel, he was cast out along with a third of the angels with him into the earth. Scripture tells us that deceitful, cunning, powerful, wants to kill and destroy.
Yeah, he's bad news.
That's what he is. He's bad news.
Yeah. And the fight isn't between us and the devil. The fight's between God and Satan.
We're just like Satan, right? We're the pawns. We're the ones they use. But we are also the prize.
Yeah, exactly.
We're the prize because the angels, the good angels, they say, paraphrasing, we want to be like them.
Yeah.
Because we make the choice to praise and worship and do certain things where angels were like, we were created this way. This is really all we know. But you make a choice. And the prize, the ultimate prize, goes to us. And
so the devil wants to take that away from us.
Always keep your eyes on the prize.
Satan can't hurt God. Unless he hurts us, because then that hurts God. It would be like the neighbor across the street. He can't really get you. But if
have you seen the neighbor across the street? We've talked about the neighbor next door. The one across the street, whole different concept.
But what I'm saying is,
you talking about the drunk lady across the street?
No, I'm not talking about that. Anyways, what I'm saying,
I borrow $5. What?
That's just mean. Don't tease. But
I'm not the one doing it. She is.
If they were to come after your kids, that's going to get to you. And so that's what Satan does. He comes after us and to get to God.
Oh, Satan.
Yeah, Satan. So the war is between them.
Yep.
Not us. So a curse is just one way that they can get to us. And we've said it before. We're spiritual beings, and we live in a body, and we possess a soul. So, I mean, they're after our soul, but they're going to attack our body, which is our physical container. Like our skin.
Not me, because we talked last week about the S on my chest.
For steel. Supernatural. Scott.
Yes. Supernatural.
Sexy.
Scott. Bring it!
Seriously? But our physical container, our skin, muscle, bone, hair,
muscle. Teeth. A lot of it too, I might add.
Our soul, which is our mind.
Oh, what happened? I just got bigger.
Oh, Lord. Our soul is our mind, our will, our memory, and our emotions. And the spirit is the core of our being, and that's what drives us. So Satan is going to attack us by our body. Then he's going to attack our soul. And then he's going to get our spirit if we allow him to. And the curses are going to hit us where they hurt most. And that varies on each person and what's in their ancestry.
Well, evil needs a certain amount of permission or a gateway, an entryway, some way to get in. Sometimes it's through soul ties.
Yeah.
Soul ties between people that draw them together like magnets.
Yep.
Through a family
Family member.
member, spouse, kids, such things. There is a